The Nuggets just tied up their series with the Clippers at 2 games apiece after a huge win in Los Angeles. And right at the center of everything was the brilliance of Nikola Jokic, who had all of the answers for one of the game's best defenses. It seemed to me like the Nuggets entered this game with the intention of playing as fast as possible. After missed shots, they were looking to get out and run consistently, and without a set Clippers defense, they found themselves getting lots of easy points. On the other side of things, Zubac is almost always looking to crash the offensive glass, so by grabbing rebounds and running, Jokic was able to beat him down the court a few times for open lanes to the basket. But even when Zubac is back to slow the push, he's forced to step out and pick up Jokic, which then frees up the paint for all sorts of opportunities. The Clippers rely on Zoo to be their primary rim protector, so when Jokic runs to the slot, he's not in a position to help on a drive, which the Nuggets use to their advantage to create points in the paint. It's the same thing in the half court. As Gordon starts to isolate Powell, Jokic spaces up top to pull Zubac away from the paint, and that leaves the interior vulnerable to both drives and cuts. Typically when Jokic is up top though, he's the one with the ball. Then Denver's looking to get into some action, and when 2 defenders chase Jamal into the paint, that leaves Gordon all alone for a warm-up triple. In these spots, they're often looking to set up the 2-man game between Jokic and Jamal, and the Clippers have primarily been having Zoo sit back in drop coverage, but that's a tough spot to be in because if he picks up the ball, now somebody has to keep Jokic off the glass. Then of course he's also a threat to pop after screening, and Zoo doesn't have the foot speed to play both the ball and the pop, so they've been having to send a third defender from 1 pass away to close the space, where 1 extra pass leaves Christian Braun with a wide open jumper. With that said though, Ben Simmons does have the foot speed to help on the ball, then recover to the pop. Only, Jokic isn't just a threat to shoot, he's a threat to attack the closeout and get downhill for points in the paint. As a result, whether it's Simmons or Zoo, more times than not when Jokic screens, you're gonna see them stay as close to him as possible, which then leaves Jamal with much easier lanes to get to the basket and score. But if instead of Jamal it was Gordon who was using these screens, then the Clippers are going to switch to not let him turn the corner, and that's when you'll see them immediately get the ball to Jokic against a mismatch. Attacking mismatches is exactly how Jokic killed LA's bench unit at the end of the third. In these lineups with Simmons at the 5, there's nobody big enough to move him off his spot, so he started posting up every possession. And in these lineups, they also like to do a lot of switching, so he consistently found himself with a wing on him. From there, the Clippers could either choose to send a double and hope he doesn't find the open man for easy offense, or they could leave him one-on-one, to which he easily worked his way inside for points. When Zubac has been on the court though, the post-up game hasn't been nearly as prominent. Zoo has the size and strength to bother him, so during those minutes, they've switched his usage to something more like that of a guard or a wing, having him come off of screens and create advantages that way. One action they've gone to a lot are these inverted pick and rolls with Jokic using a ball screen from a wing, and on this one you're gonna see his drive basically played to perfection by Zoo, only to hit a ridiculously tough floater. Most commonly though, they've been having him run around without the ball as he hunts for space to shoot the 3. This especially shows up on out of bounds plays. They've been making a deliberate effort to put Zubac in screening action, and because he's developed into such an elite shooter, the defense goes into panic mode anytime he frees up. Probably the best example of this was in the final seconds of the first quarter. On a sideline out of bounds play, he runs towards the ball, and he doesn't even really get open, but turns and hits a ridiculous shot anyways. As a result, he has serious gravity as an off-ball player. This time he's the one setting a down screen, and Zoo doesn't want to leave him on the perimeter, so when MPJ cuts, he's left with a wide open paint, where he earns himself a trip to the line. The Clippers actually tried to avoid this by going to a zone late in the second quarter, but Jokic countered by posting up one of those smaller players from a bit further out, then slowly working his way in close for easy offense over the top. And again, this puts help defenders in an impossible spot where they can either live with him making those touch shots, or they can rotate over and live with his passing, basically putting them in a lose-lose situation. That's why it's such a big deal that Zoo's able to play these actions straight up. But on the first play of the fourth, they finally cleared out for the bigs to battle one-on-one, and Jokic slowly worked his way to the front of the basket before turning around for a soft touch hook. Then the Clippers immediately shifted back to a zone, but this was a much more aggressive zone with the intention of forcing the ball out of Jokic's hands as much as possible, making somebody else on the court make plays. Anytime he posted up one of those smaller players, they'd come with an immediate double, and on this one he does a great job of finding the open cutter for a layup. Here's another example. They go to one of those inverted ball screens to clear space for a post-up, and not only does Powell double from the corner, Harden triples from up top, forcing the ball to the opposite side of the floor, where Jamal Murray's left on an island for three. So the Clippers increase their pressure. Now they're going to be picking up Jokic 94 feet away from the basket in hopes of making anyone else on the court initiate. And this is where Denver's supporting cast really struggled to beat the zone. Jamal in particular had a difficult time dealing with LA's aggressive ball pressure, and all of the momentum started to shift in the opposite direction, which was only amplified by the fact that they went cold from the three-point line, and before you know it, a 20-point lead had been completely erased in a matter of minutes. In the closing minute though, the Clippers decided to go back to man-to-man defense. And I'm not sure if I'd call it a mistake, but that's when the Nuggets were able to clear out for those Jokic isolations. On this one, he drew a foul that sent him to the line, where he hit one of two free throws to tie the game up at 97. Then next time down, they went right back to that empty side post-up. Again, Jokic takes his time getting to the paint, and Zoo does an incredible job of pushing him out, only to get hit with some absolutely beautiful footwork as he sets up his signature Sombor shuffle. And that takes us to the final play of the game. 99-99, Jokic isolating from an empty side of the floor and attempting a one-legged fall-away three, only for Aaron Gordon to catch it and throw down the first ever game-winning, buzzer-beating dunk in NBA playoff history. Throughout this game, Jokic's versatility was on full display. From the way he pushed the pace and spaced the floor, to the way he played the two-man game both with and without the ball, and of course everything he did in the post, he continues to show why he's one of, if not the most complete offensive player ever. In this game, he recorded 36 points, 21 rebounds, and 8 assists on 65% true shooting, as he almost single-handedly took down a Clippers defense that tried everything in their power to limit his game. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out the Hoop Venue podcast and my social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of Jokic. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.